Hello! What's going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be sharing my final thoughts on every single final European matchup coming up. The Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League all have very thrilling matchups, and all of them are very tough to decide. I know I've already done a prediction for the Champions League a week ago, but my thoughts might have changed. Look, I'm just too torn about that pick. It is such a 50-50 matchup, along with many of these matchups, actually. Obviously, lots of people already have their favorite locked in, but as we all have seen in this tournament, anything's possible for any of these teams. In this video, I am joined with Michael Talks Football. You might recognize him from my Europa League predictions in the past. Make sure you guys go check out his channel if you haven't already. I'll leave a link in the description below. But yeah, without any further ado, let's start off with our predictions. Starting off with the Champions League.
Real Madrid versus Liverpool. One team who has won it 13 times. The other team has won it 6 times. This is what I call football heritage final because both of these teams have UCL history. And I'm just so excited. Yes, Real Madrid have had by far the tougher run. They are the comeback kings, the never die attitude. While for Liverpool, it's just kind of been cruise sailing. Very easy opponents. Inter gave them a tough match in the second leg. Benfica was a little bit of an easy matchup. And then Villarreal gave them a tough run in the first half. But then second half was all Liverpool. So, I mean, this final, at 50-50, I wouldn't be surprised if people went Real Madrid, Liverpool, go to extra time, go to penalties. One team could beat them 3-1. The other team could beat them 3-1. There are so many storylines in this game as well. A rematch of the 2018 final when Karius happened. So, I mean, I'm super excited, and Liverpool definitely want revenge for this final.
Yes, we also got to remind ourselves that Salah is going to be very determined to win the Champions League. I mean, he was absolutely devastated after he had to be sent off against that Sergio Ramos challenge. Real Madrid, with these spectacular comebacks, they've had such a tough road coming all the way to the final, beating the likes of PSG, Chelsea, Manchester City, and now they got to face Liverpool, the third Premier League team in a row they got to face. Still in contention to win the Premier League, and have just won the FA Cup. Unfortunately, in the FA Cup final, Salah and Van Dijk picked up injuries. There is still a lot of time till the Champions League begins. So at the time of this recording, there is still hope that they will play in the final. Klopp even remains optimistic that they will play in the UCL final, but will probably miss the next Premier League fixture. They have slipped a bit in that Premier League race as they drew to Tottenham 1-1, and obviously having to worry about the FA Cup final, Premier League, Champions League final. Real Madrid have already secured La Liga. I think that's a huge advantage for them. Within the time they won La Liga, they've just been putting all the eggs in their basket in the Champions League. It's hard to judge their form recently as, you know, they obviously aren't going to be taking La Liga as seriously. Liverpool have to take all their matches seriously. They just barely scraped through Chelsea in the FA Cup. Now, I will be rooting for Liverpool in this final, but it's just so hard to go against Real Madrid right now. The script has been going their way in pretty much every matchup. Now, if you haven't seen my previous Champions League prediction already, I was leaning towards Liverpool, but now I might have to change my mind. Yes, Liverpool will be booming with confidence. The quadruple is still in the race. Obviously, by then we'll know if the Premier League success story will happen, but it's looking a tiny bit doubtful at the moment. But regardless, winning the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, they could win a third trophy this season, and the Champions League is arguably the biggest one. Look, I do want Liverpool to win, but Real Madrid just have too much success in the Champions League, don't they? After all these amazing knockout matches they just had with amazing scoreline results, thriller of matchups left and right, I do see this one being very high scoring and going Real Madrid's way. Liverpool might have a lead at first, but Real Madrid will come out on top at the end. I'm going to say it finishes 3-2.
In the midfield, amazing battle. Modric versus Thiago. Out wide, you have Trent versus Vinny. You have Robertson against Rodrigo. You have Ferland Mendy against Salah. Diaz versus Carvajal. The only thing that worries me, if you're a Real Madrid fan, the defensively just not strong whatsoever throughout this Champions League. They have one of the top 3 goalkeepers in the world. Courtois is amazing. You know, he saved a couple of brilliant shots against Man City, but Militao, Carvajal, Alaba, Mendy, they have a mistake in them. And if you give Liverpool chances, unlike City, where City were not clinical, Liverpool are a much more clinical side when given the chances to score against you. So that's something that Real Madrid have to be worried about. And Liverpool, we know they played the defensive high line, and with Vinny and Modric's passing, Cruz as well. A lot of interesting one-on-one battles that we're going to get in this game. And you said 3-2 Real Madrid. I mean, obviously being a Liverpool fan, I have to back my side, but I am not confident whatsoever. I mean, this is 50-50, and you have to respect Real Madrid for what they have done in this Champions League run and the players they have. And Benzema, he's going to win Ballon d'Or. And if he leads Real Madrid to the Champions League, this might be one of the greatest performances we have ever seen from a single player in a Champions League run. I haven't seen anything like this from Benzema. Not even Ronaldo. Okay, maybe Ronaldo did this, but Benzema has scored so many crucial goals in this knockout stages for Real Madrid. So my prediction, I think this is going to be high scoring. Liverpool defensively are stronger, but the defensive high line does worry me. So I think this is going to go 2-2 heading into extra time, and Liverpool will get a late winner, 3-2. Liverpool are champions and have won their 7th Champions League, hopefully.
I could be totally wrong. You can make arguments for everything. Liverpool with the confidence right now, with the form they're in, their attack is outstanding, but so is Real Madrid's. Benzema could be on his way to win the Ballon d'Or. Obviously, with this matchup, Mane or Salah could potentially win it if they win the Champions League, but most people are going to be banking that Benzema wins the Ballon d'Or regardless. I believe Benzema is the only player other than Cristiano Ronaldo to get over 10 goals in the knockout stage alone in the Champions League. Who knows, obviously injuries are still a factor. This is the latest final we will be seeing. I'm leaning towards Real Madrid. They're obviously going to be resting those big name players, not trying to strain them from injury. I mean, Benzema didn't even start up against Atletico Madrid that weekend. So I am going to go for Real Madrid winning this 3-2. Liverpool could easily prove me wrong, and I hope they do. This is, I think, the hardest one to predict out of these 3 finals.
One more thing I want to add. Real Madrid have not lost the Champions League final since 1981. You know who that was against? Liverpool. You know the location? Paris. Let's see if history repeats itself. That's the last time Real Madrid have lost a Champions League final. 1981. 41 years. Unbelievable record, but same opponent, same location. Let's see if it's the same outcome.
Now let's move on to the Europa League final. Frankfurt versus Rangers. Massive props to both of these teams for making all the way to the final. So many people weren't expecting this to be the final outcome. I mean, Rangers are now beating 2 Bundesliga teams. First Dortmund early on, and now Leipzig in the semifinals. Can they now beat a 3rd German team in a row and win the Europa League? I mean, they clearly aren't fazed by the Bundesliga clubs. Dortmund and Leipzig are both sitting at top 4 in the Bundesliga, and they knocked out both of them. It's obviously possible to do it against Frankfurt as well.
Like you said, this is probably the most unexpected Europa League final I have seen since 08, 09, or 07, 08 when it was Werder Bremen, Shakhtar, and Rangers Zenit. People can say, oh, they got lucky. No, they didn't. Frankfurt faced Real Betis, almost a top 4 team in La Liga, Barcelona, and West Ham United. Rangers have faced Dortmund, Red Star Belgrade, Braga, and RB Leipzig. The road that these 2 teams have faced is unbelievable, and the mental and the way they have been playing, where they don't just sit back and defend and hit them on the counterattack. They have outplayed some of these teams at times. It's remarkable to watch, and the stakes of this game, of course, as we know, a Champions League spot. Frankfurt need to win this game to have any European football because they're 9th position in the Bundesliga. Rangers have to win it because they're not in a position to qualify directly to the Champions League group stage because Celtic are going to win the Scottish Premier League. The stakes are at an all-time high for both teams. Both sets of fan bases, I would say, kudos to them. The noise they make and the support they give to their teams is unbelievable. I think Frankfurt just surpassed 100,000 memberships for their club too, so it's awesome. I think they're only 5th Bundesliga side to do that. Rangers, I mean, Ibrox was rocking. When you go to Ibrox, it's a fortress, and Rangers did it once again. So the road these 2 teams have faced is unbelievable. And look, it's going to be a great final. Probably the hardest one to pick. For me, I don't know who's going to win and who's going to be the more attacking side, who's going to be the more defensive side, how will Rangers set up. We know what Frankfurt are going to do. They're going to play their sort of 3-4-3 formation, but Rangers can play any sort of way. They can play 5 in the back. They can play a 4-2-3-1. So it's going to be really interesting to see. And Rangers have done this without their top striker, Alfredo Morelos. He's out for the season, and they still have made a Europa League final. Unbelievable achievement by Giovanni van Bronckhorst.
Yeah, I really got to say props to Van Bronckhorst. I mean, I seriously doubted Rangers after Gerrard's exit, but they're in the Europa League final. Yes, they weren't able to win the Scottish League, but I know that they will definitely cherish this moment forever. I mean, you've got Tavernier as a fullback, still pushing up very well, scoring goals himself. You all know I hope the best for my boy Barisic as well. At times, I did question Rangers' defense against these top clubs, but look, they still pulled through all the way at the end, every single matchup. I mean, in the second leg against Leipzig, it seemed like they played a 5 in the back, and they only conceded 1 goal against the main man, Christopher Nkunku, the French lad who's had a spectacular season. I know your Finnish hero Kamara is also pulling through. I believe he scored a goal against Leipzig. Now, although Frankfurt are not in the best position in the Bundesliga, this side is just such an underrated collective unit. Very international based as well. Players from all over the world coming together and bossing it in this big tournament. I'm so happy Kostic had a spectacular performance against Barcelona, for example. Kamada, one of the most exciting Japanese players at the moment. So, Hinteregger, Trapp, and like you mentioned with the fan bases, it was absolutely incredible to see the Frankfurt fans storm the pitch after they beat West Ham and made it to the final. Before you analyze this matchup, you might be thinking that Frankfurt are the favorites, even though there are still a lot of underrated players on there. A German club surely should beat a Scottish club in a Europa League final, according to many neutrals, obviously. But I would definitely not rule out Rangers with their success. Like I said, already beating 2 Bundesliga clubs that are ahead of Frankfurt in the Bundesliga as well. This one is definitely more 50-50 than people make it out to be. But with that all being said, with all respect to Rangers, I know I doubted this side a bunch in this Europa League run. I am leaning towards Frankfurt winning this final. The fact that they knocked out the juggernaut Barcelona and then still the favorites for a lot of people, West Ham, is just remarkable. Yes, Rangers knocked out 2 German clubs that are ahead of Frankfurt in the Bundesliga, but Frankfurt look like they're putting all the eggs in their basket in the Europa League. Like you said, you know what's at stake. They need to win this Europa League final if they want to qualify for the Champions League. Rangers as well, obviously, but I think Frankfurt are going to edge it. I see it being a high-scoring match where Frankfurt win 4-2.
That's a very high-scoring game. Let's look at some battles, right? I love how you bring up Kostic because he's probably been the best player this season in the Europa League. Unbelievable season he's having, and I think he's actually going to leave Frankfurt this summer, so hopefully he can leave with a Europa League trophy. I think the fans will want. But Kostic against Tavernier, what a matchup. Tavernier, a right back, is the top goal scorer in the Europa League. Think about that. The guy was a League One championship sort of player level, went to Rangers I think 6 or 7 years ago, and his career has just taken off and unbelievable to watch him play. So Kostic versus Tavernier, that's definitely a battle to watch out for. You have Lundstrom in the midfield for Rangers against obviously Daichi Kamada, and Daichi Kamada has probably been, you know, Frankfurt's best player. You also have Konoff, who came during the January transfer window on loan from Dortmund, and he's been a brilliant pickup, you know, adding the width and adding a much more attacking phase. So you look at Frankfurt, very athletic side, can counterattack quickly, can defend well. Can they get the goals from Borja as well, who's been stepping up in big games, and he's a big game player. But I just look at Rangers, and there's just something about this team, and I like how you bring up my boy Glenn Kamara. I have never, ever seen him score a left-footed goal. Never. And somehow he did. That's when I knew. When he scored a left-footed goal, I said, this is Rangers' night, and they're making it to the final, because that never happens. And I watch him play all the time as much as I can. But Kent, he cannot be as selfish, right? We need the Kent who's good decision making, makes the right decisions. If that happens, or if he's going to be selfish, because he's a very good player, but his decision making at times is just very, very poor. So it's going to be an interesting battle. I really do think as well that it's going to be 50-50, and I feel like Rangers are going to be a bit more defensive and hit them on the counterattack with their dangerous players they have. Whereas then Frankfurt, you know, could they be frustrated? Because some games in the Europa League, Frankfurt have been the more of the team that defend well and then counterattack. So, look, my prediction, I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen in this game. 50-50 sort of matchup in Seville. It's going to be blue on one side and all white on the other side. It's going to be an awesome fan duel as well. Who's going to win this game? I'm going to go with a 2-1 win, and I say Rangers are going to win the Europa League. I just think they've been the side that have been very much down and out. People don't respect them. Opponents don't respect them. I think Frankfurt are definitely going to respect them, right? They've seen what they do. They've destroyed Dortmund, destroyed Leipzig. So right, Frankfurt will not take them lightly, but I just think there's something with this Rangers side. The fans believe it would be an epic comeback. Think about this. 6 or 7 years ago, they were in the 3rd or 2nd division of Scotland, and now they're in a Europa League final. It is a remarkable rise back to the top for Rangers, and I think they're going to do it. I think Kent will step up, and I think Oribo will get a goal, and it's going to be 2-1 Rangers, and they will be lifting the trophy in Seville.
Like you said, a lot of people doubting Rangers too much, including me, but I would be very happy to see them have this underdog tale. Winning such a major European trophy would be massive for the club. All respect to Rangers, all respect to Frankfurt. Good luck to both of these sides in the final. But now the final matchup we're looking at, the Conference League final, Roma versus Feyenoord. Feyenoord, another side I have just ruled out way too many times, haven't I? Beating Marseille in the semifinals and the way they did it as well. One thing I criticized about this side a lot was their defense. They leaked way too many goals, but they really held their ground against Marseille in the second leg. They already were up 3-2 on aggregate. All they had to do was lock them down, and Once Payet got injured, Marseille just lacked all the creativity in the world. So many decisive passes intercepted by the defenders as well. But yeah, besides that second leg against Marseille, they did concede a lot of goals in the past. But along with that, they scored loads of goals as well. They currently have the top goal scorer in their tournament, Desers, with 10 goals right in front of Tammy Abraham as well. But yeah, going on to Roma, a lot of people have them as their favorites in this matchup. Although you definitely shouldn't rule out Feyenoord. Look, Roma do have Jose Mourinho. This man is the first manager ever to make it to a Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League final. And he has a pretty decent success rate in these finals, doesn't he? But regardless, with that being said, take it from me, it's not safe to ever write off Feyenoord. Still, like I said, you got the two top goal scorers, Desers and Tammy Abraham. Maybe Tammy Abraham will try to compete for the top goal scorer in the Conference League in this final. He could potentially top Desers if he gets a brace and leaves Feyenoord frustrated not scoring any goals. The Feyenoord attack can definitely impose some problems in this final. Roma's defense really has to stay on top of their game. And although I did compliment Feyenoord's defensive efforts in that second leg against Marseille, look, Payet is such a key player to add to Marseille's creativity. I do think the likes of Zaniolo and Pellegrini can add some creativity to Roma. Tammy Abraham, a very lethal goal scorer. I don't see them locking down Roma the way they did with Marseille. I said high scores for the other matchups. For this one, I'm going low. Roma win this just 1-0. But like I said in my semi-final predictions, Feyenoord fans, I don't want to jinx you guys. You guys already got so far with me, always doubting you. I'm going to doubt you one more time. Go win that final. Best of luck to you all. But I do have Roma as my favorites winning the Conference League.
The first ever Conference League final in Tirana. What an occasion. What two sets of fan bases as well. Feyenoord, the team that seems like has been ruling out every single matchup against Partizan, Slavia Praha, Marseille. I said they would be Marseille. I couldn't trust Marseille and they did it. They actually proved me right. So, massive shout out to them. And like you talked about, they showed a sort of different mentality in that second leg, right? They've been outscoring teams, scoring for fun, but that second leg, they dug deep. And sometimes when in these runs to the final and winning a trophy, you have to dig deep and you're not going to play the most sexiest football. You're not going to be attacking every time. You got to sit deep and soak up some pressure and hit on the counterattack. That's what Feyenoord did. And they did it brilliantly. And they made it to a Conference League final. Think about this. Feyenoord have started way back in the second qualifying round of the Conference League when I think they faced FC Distra from Kosovo. And they needed a 90th minute winner to advance. Second qualifying round. And now they're in the final. You have to tip your hat to Arne Slot, who's a very good manager, loves to play attacking football. Sinisterra, I think, has been one of the best players in the Conference League. You look at Desers, Reece Nelson, you look at Till, you look at Sensi, you look at Trauner. And to think that they're doing this with their second string goalkeeper, Marciano, who I don't really rate, and I don't think a lot of Feyenoord fans rate because he makes a lot of mistakes. But he was crucial in that second leg against Marseille. So tip to the hat to Feyenoord, and I think they can win this game just because they are a very good attacking side, and Jose Mourinho, Roma, going for being the first ever manager to win the Champions League, Conference League, and the Europa League. Can he do it? He was crying after the game against Leicester, so happy and overjoyed with emotion. You gotta give it to Jose, man. He's a little bit at the downfall of his career, not managing, as the best as he did back in the day at Inter or at Chelsea, but still, he still gets the job done, and very good cup manager. Tammy Abraham has become a Roma god. You can just tell the fans love him and he loves being there, which is amazing to see. English players doing well outside of England when for the longest time they didn't want to go outside of England and be outside their comfort zone. Pellegrini's been amazing this season. You have Chris Smalling, Ibanez. I have a feeling that Feyenoord are going to do this. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game because sometimes the Roma defense is very solid and then it can be leaky. And I think Feyenoord can definitely go at this Roma defense, test them. There's a similar thing to Rangers where they've dug deep. They've been playing some amazing football. And I feel like Desers and Sinisterra can cause a lot of trouble to Roma's defense. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Feyenoord. And they will be lifting the first ever Conference League trophy in Tirana.
Yeah, look, like I said, best of luck to Feyenoord. I just don't want to doubt Jose Mourinho right now. Yes, he might have faded away from his tactical genius efforts. He's not the same manager we once knew him to be, but you still can't rule out this guy. Yes, he's had a few slips in the Conference League along the way, mostly to Bodo Glimt, but he's here in the final regardless. I might be a bit worried about the back line, but like you said, once they score, they will try to control that defensive line. I think they got it where they can just keep it at 1-0. Well, there you have it, guys. Those are our predictions. Michael, thank you for joining yet again. Like I said, go check them out if you haven't already, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Always love to hear what you guys think. The rest of this month is about to be absolutely epic with all these insane matchups. Very excited for every single one. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care. La cu noite.